together for Tuesday's State of the Union. It's an effort at increased civility in the wake of the Tucson shootings, but a big roadblock remains to a new era of, shall we say, kumbaya politics.
Because guess what? When it comes to raising money for campaigns, especially online, it's the nice guys and gals that finish last. Christina Bellantoni is Associate Politics Editor for CQ Roll Call. You join us. This is, on one hand, probably obvious to many. Well, geez, you know, the hottest rhetoric gets the most attention. But there's a real dollar figure here, isn't there?
Yeah, you got it. And it's often tied to television. You have somebody say something on this network or Fox News, and then they take to the radio airwaves, and then they put it in their fundraising emails, and suddenly they get millions and millions of dollars. And we have a story in today's roll call looking at how candidates manage this money. In some cases, you know, Christina O'Donnell being one of them, she had to hire somebody specifically to help her figure out how much money she could raise off going on Sean Hannity on Fox.
Well, let's get specific, because you do cite a few examples of candidates or politicians who said something controversial and immediately saw a huge payday. I'm thinking of Joe Wilson saying "you lie" in the hall. That was a money raiser for him and his political opponent.
Exactly.
No?
Yeah. In September 2009, President Obama gave this health care speech, and Joe Wilson shouts this. He immediately, as soon as he was identified, he started raising money, and people started raising money against him. And people are still trying to raise money off of this. This is an area where anything hot, anytime you can get your name into the headlines like this, you're finally known.
Bernie Sanders, the independent senator from Vermont who caucuses with the Democrats, was the first well-known politician to start raising money off of the tragedy in Tucson. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so what Sanders did is he sent out an email to his regular fundraising list talking about this is an opportunity to discuss the tragedy in Tucson, and at the end said, my campaign's heating up for 2012. People no doubt are going to be running against me. Please contribute. And that, you know, set off all kinds of alarm bells with people saying it was too soon. Obviously, you were exploiting the tragedy. Well, the Tea Party Express came right on the heels of that and said, you know, help us raise money to stamp out the liberals who are blaming us for this, you know, which has obviously been a very heated debate in itself. Alan Grayson, former member of Congress, defeated in Florida, who he may run again. They're going to get 2 more seats thanks to redistricting. He has been raising money off this as well, specifically going after Sarah Palin, going after Fox News, talking about how Democrats have been the victims here.
And what's the dynamic here? I mean, in some ways it seems self-evident, but just by virtue of the attention, or do the candidates have to do something that grabs attention and then make that fundraising pitch? Or does the money just pour in once you've gotten yourself this kind of attention?
Well, it goes back. You guys remember this from the 2008 campaign. You remember when Hillary Clinton kept saying HillaryClinton.com? I mean, every time if you get your name in the headlines, you remind people to go to your website, you have the apparatus in place to accept all of these small dollar donations from all over the country, you're going to start raising money.
And boogeyman and boogeywoman politics is not new. Jesse Helms, Ted Kennedy were both punching bags for the left and the right over the years. So, well, this isn't new. Is it an increased amount that we're seeing?
It's absolutely an increased amount, in part because people are just getting more active. You have so many different channels, Act Blue being one of them, the Obama campaign being one of them. The RNC has been very good at sort of targeting, whether it's Nancy Pelosi or others, to be able to raise money for this very specific cause. Tea Party Express is one that I mentioned earlier. They are very, very driven to the news. They will fundraise off anything that's in the news because they know that that's how that they can get the money.
And last thing, but the fundraising does not necessarily mean good political fortunes when it comes to the ballot box. I suppose Christina O'Donnell would be the first example you'd cite for that.
Sharon Angle.
Yeah,
Sharon Angle.
They're both excellent examples because they raised a lot of money by staying in the headlines, by saying inflammatory things, had a lot of people coming to their defense, but voters didn't like it.
All right, Christina Bellantoni, Associate Politics Editor for CQ Roll Call. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
You know what? I say we stick her with the trivia question.
Oh, yes.
You are the Associate Editor of CQ Politics.
Oh, no pressure. But all right, Christina,
here you go.
Trivia time. We asked who was the first woman in U.S. history to be elected both a governor and a senator. I'm assuming not at the same time. That's your only hint.
First in history.
Ding, 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 ding,
This is so...
It's not Shaheen.
Yes,
it is.
Way to go, Christina. And you know,
right.
because she had that, she answered with a question mark that we didn't give her the answer in advance, but she came through with it. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
All right, coming up next, it's what Chuck has been waiting for since about 5 minutes after the midterms were over.
No, I'm not talking about Super Bowl 45.
Oh.
I'm talking about the 2012 race for the White House. Why hasn't it started yet? President Obama's in. Which Republican is actually going to announce? We're going to come out and check out the race from the Republican side of things.
But first, the White House soup of the day.
Yes.
The state of the soup at the mess today. One of
Yes.
our favorite. You love this.
I love 15 beans
Why?
because it's a way